The bride's mother wouldn't stop crying. I stood in the marble foyer of the Castellano estate, holding my portfolio against my chest like a shield, watching this elegant woman in cream silk dissolve into something raw and frightening. Her mascara hadn't run too expensive for that, but her hands shook as she pressed a monogrammed handkerchief to her mouth. "Mrs. Castellano," I said softly. "If this isn't a good time." "No." Her voice cut sharp through her tears. "No, the wedding is in 6 weeks. We need you, Miss Reyes. Lucia would want." She stopped, swallowed. "Lucia will want everything perfect." The way she corrected herself made my skin prickle. I'd been decorating weddings for 3 years. I knew bride-mother dynamics, the stress, the tears, the impossible expectations. But this felt different, wrong. The estate itself was beautiful in that intimidating old-money way, all white stone and arched windows, gardens that probably required a staff of 12. I'd driven up from the city that morning, grateful for the commission, but unclear why the Castellanos had chosen my small studio over the established firms they could easily afford. "Perhaps I could meet with Lucia?" I suggested. "Go over her vision for the ceremony?" Mrs. Castellano's face went very still. "She's away. A pre-wedding trip. You'll work with me, and with Dante." "Dante? The groom's brother. He's handling the arrangements." Something in her tone when she said his name, careful, measured, made me pay attention. Before I could ask more, footsteps echoed through the hall. Heavy, deliberate, the kind of footsteps that make you straighten your spine without knowing why. He appeared at the top of the curved staircase. Dante Moretti moved like violence in a perfectly tailored suit. Dark hair, darker eyes, a face that belonged on Renaissance paintings of fallen angels. But it wasn't his looks that made my breath catch. It was the way he looked at me direct, assessing, like he was cataloging every detail for future use. "Miss Reyes." His voice was low, controlled. "You're late." I checked my watch. "I'm 10 minutes early. Then I expected you 20 minutes early." He descended the stairs with that same measured grace. "In my family, we value punctuality." His family, not the Castellanos, the groom's family. "I wasn't aware the groom's family was handling the wedding planning," I said, keeping my voice professional, despite the irritation sparking in my chest. Dante stopped 3 feet from me. Up close, I could see the faint scar along his jaw, the expensive watch, the ring on his right hand, thick gold, ornate. An heirloom, probably. Or a symbol. "The Castellanos need support during this difficult time," he said. "I'm providing it." Mrs. Castellano made a small sound. When I glanced at her, she was staring at the floor. "Of course," I said slowly. "Well, I've brought some initial concepts based on the brief I received. If we could sit down, walk with me." Dante turned toward the gardens without waiting for agreement. I looked at Mrs. Castellano, but she just nodded, her handkerchief pressed against her mouth again. So I followed him, my heels clicking against marble, then silent on grass. The gardens were stunning. Late spring roses, perfectly manicured hedges, a fountain at the center that probably cost more than my car. Dante led me along a stone path toward a greenhouse in the distance. "You decorated the Morrison Chen wedding last fall," he said. It wasn't a question. Yes, I saw the photos. Unconventional, bold color choices. The bride cried when she saw the ceremony space. "Happy tears," I said defensively. "I don't care if they were happy or sad. I care that you made her feel something." He stopped walking, turned to face me. "Lucia is particular. This wedding needs to be extraordinary, memorable." The way he said her name, his brother's bride, held no warmth, no affection, just that same careful control. "I can work with particular," I said, "but I'll need to understand her taste, her favorite colors, flowers, the feeling she wants to create." "White roses," he interrupted. "She likes white roses. And gold accents. She wants elegance, tradition. Those are generic preferences. I need specifics. Maybe some photos of her favorite." "No photos." The words came out too fast, too sharp. Dante's jaw tightened, and for just a moment, something flickered in his eyes. Not anger, something colder. "Mr. Moretti," I said carefully, "I appreciate the opportunity, but if I can't consult with the bride, this will be difficult. Perhaps when she returns from her trip, she won't be returning." He caught himself. "In time. She won't return in time to finalize details. You'll work with the parameters I provide." The sun was warm on my shoulders, but I felt cold. When exactly is she coming back? That's not your concern. It is if I'm expected to create her dream wedding without ever meeting her. Dante stepped closer. Not threatening, exactly, but deliberate. I could smell his cologne, something dark, expensive, with an edge of smoke. Miss Reyes, he said quietly, you're being paid triple your normal rate. The deposit was transferred this morning. In exchange, you'll trust that we know what's best for Lucia and focus on your work. Are we clear? I should have walked away. Every instinct I'd honed growing up in a city that taught you to recognize danger was screaming at me to politely decline and leave. But triple my normal rate would cover 3 months of studio rent. And there was something in his eyes beneath the control, beneath the ice that looked almost like desperation. Crystal clear, I heard myself say. Something in his expression shifted. Not quite relief, but close. Good. You'll start tomorrow. I'll send a car for you at 8. I have my own car. The estate is 40 minutes outside the city. The roads can be complicated. It's easier if we provide transportation. Easier for who? But I just nodded. Fine. Tomorrow at 8. He turned to continue down the path, then paused. Miss Reyes? One more thing. Yes? You'll be working closely with my family over the next 6 weeks. We value discretion above all else. What you see, what you hear, what you wonder about it stays confidential, non-negotiable. The way he said it made my pulse quicken. Is there something I should be concerned about? Only if you're the type who asks too many questions. He walked away before I could respond, leaving me standing in the perfect gardens with roses blooming around me and that cold feeling spreading through my chest. I returned to the foyer where Mrs. Castellano waited. She looked smaller somehow, hunched in on herself. Thank you for coming, she whispered. Lucia would be so happy to know you're doing this for her. Mrs. Castellano, I said gently. Where is she? Really? Her eyes filled with fresh tears. Away. Just away. Please. Miss Reyes. Make it beautiful. Make it perfect. It has to be perfect. The desperation in her voice followed me all the way to my car. I sat in the driver's seat for a long moment, staring up at the estate. In an upper window, I saw movement, Dante, watching me. Our eyes met across the distance, and I felt that same jolt of recognition I'd felt on the stairs. Like he was memorizing me. Like he was deciding something. I started the engine and drove away. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd just agreed to something far more complicated than decorating a wedding. That night, I Googled, Lucia Castellano missing bride. The search returned nothing. I tried, Moretti family, New York. The results made my blood run cold. The black car arrived at exactly 8 a.m. I'd barely slept. I'd spent half the night reading articles, police reports, newspaper archives. The Moretti name appeared in connection with everything from real estate development to political donations, to carefully worded allegations that never quite stuck. Money laundering, racketeering. One article from 10 years ago detailed the death of a rival businessman in what was ruled an accidental fire. The comments section told a different story. I'd closed my laptop at 3 a.m. With shaking hands, knowing I should cancel, knowing I wouldn't. The driver was silent, professional. Expensive suit, dark glasses, the kind of stillness that came from training. He opened my door without a word, waited for me to gather my materials, then drove with the smooth precision of someone who'd navigated these roads 1,000 times. We passed through iron gates, up the long drive. The estate looked different in morning light, less romantic, more imposing. Security cameras on the corners of the building caught my attention. I hadn't noticed those yesterday. Dante was waiting at the entrance. He wore dark slacks and a white shirt, sleeves rolled to his forearms. Somehow that made him more dangerous, not less. Like he'd removed a layer of civilization. Miss Reyes. He took my portfolio before I could protest. Coffee? Please. He led me through the house, down hallways lined with family portraits. I tried not to stare at the faces, but one caught my attention, a young man with Dante's dark eyes and softer features. The groom, probably. Marco Moretti, the man marrying the missing bride. My brother, Dante confirmed, catching my gaze. He's handling business in Chicago. He'll return for the final preparations. Will Lucia be back by then? Dante's step didn't falter, but I felt the question land. Possibly. We entered a study that smelled of leather and old books. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the gardens. A coffee service was already laid out. Someone had anticipated our arrival. Sit, Dante said, pouring 2 cups with practiced ease. Black? Cream? No sugar. He added cream from a small pitcher, handed me the cup. Our fingers brushed. His were warm, calloused. Not the hands of a man who only signed papers. I reviewed your contract last night, I said, settling into a leather chair. The confidentiality clause is unusually detailed. We're a private family. It mentions criminal penalties for disclosure. We're a very private family. He sat across from me, coffee untouched. Does that concern you? Should it? That depends on what kind of woman you are, Miss Reyes. The way he said it low, direct, made heat crawl up my neck. The kind who honors her contracts. Good. He leaned back, studying me. Tell me something. Why did you really take this job? The money. Partially. But you could have negotiated. Walked away when I told you the bride was unavailable. You didn't. I sipped my coffee, buying time. Maybe I was intrigued. By what? By why a family would hire a decorator for a wedding when the bride is missing. I set down my cup with deliberate care. I Googled you, Mr. Moretti. You and your family. Something flickered in his expression. Not anger. Something closer to satisfaction. And what did you learn? That you're in real estate. That your family has connections. That people seem to be very careful about what they say regarding the Moretti name. Wise people. Is that a threat? It's an observation. He stood, moved to the window. The morning light caught the planes of his face, the tension in his shoulders. My family operates in complicated spaces, Miss Reyes. We have enemies. We have secrets. This wedding is important for reasons that have nothing to do with love or celebration. The honesty surprised me. Then what is it about? Alliances, power, the continuation of something that started long before either of us was born. He turned to face me. Lucia's marriage to my brother will unite two families. It will end a conflict that's cost lives. It will secure peace. Arranged marriages aren't exactly common anymore. In our world, they never stopped being common. He crossed back to me, slow and deliberate. But Lucia wanted the ceremony, the celebration, the perfect day, and her mother needs... He stopped himself. Mrs. Castellano needs to believe this is happening, that her daughter will walk down that aisle in 6 weeks. My heart was beating too fast. Mr. Moretti, where is Lucia? Somewhere safe. From what? From people who would rather see this wedding never happen. He crouched in front of my chair, bringing us eye level. Listen to me carefully. You were hired because you're good at what you do. Because Lucia saw your work and loved it. Because she wanted you specifically before she... He caught himself again. You're here to do a job. Create something beautiful. Don't dig deeper than that. But I was already digging. Before she what? Disappeared, ran away, was taken. His hand moved fast, not violent, just sudden, gripping the arm of my chair. Close enough that I could see the gold flecks in his dark eyes. Smell his cologne again. That smoke and darkness. Before she was removed from a dangerous situation, he said quietly. By me. For her protection and her family's peace of mind. She's alive, Miss Reyes. She's safe. And in 6 weeks, she'll stand in that garden and marry my brother like she agreed to. Your job is to make sure that when she does, everything is exactly as she envisioned. Why should I believe you? Because if I wanted to hurt her, she'd already be dead. The words were brutal in their simplicity, because I've been protecting my family my entire life, and that protection now extends to hers. Because despite what you read online, Miss Reyes, I'm not the monster you think I am. I never said you were a monster. You didn't have to. He stood, put distance between us again. Your face is expressive. It's one of the things I noticed yesterday. You feel everything openly. It's refreshing. And dangerous. I stood too, gathering my materials with hands that only trembled slightly. If you want me to do this job, I need access. To the venue, the vendors, the budget. And I need honesty. No more cryptic warnings and half answers. What makes you think you've earned honesty? The fact that you just told me more in 5 minutes than you probably tell most people in 5 years. He smiled, then sudden, genuine, devastating. It transformed his face, made him look younger and infinitely more dangerous. You're right, he said. I don't know why I did that. Maybe because you need someone to know the truth. Even if it's just a decorator you'll never see again after 6 weeks. The smile faded. He moved to the door, opened it. My driver will take you to the venue. I'll meet you there in an hour. We'll discuss specifics. I gathered my things, walked past him. In the doorway, I paused. Mr. Moretti? If Lucia is truly safe, why does her mother cry like someone who's grieving? He didn't answer, just closed the door quietly behind me. The venue was a converted chapel 10 miles from the estate, nestled in woods so thick they seemed to swallow sound. The building itself was beautiful old stone, stained glass, a bell tower that rose above the tree line like something from a Gothic novel. I hated it on sight, not because of the architecture, because of what it represented. A stage, a performance, a wedding for a bride who might not be able to refuse. The driver had left me at the entrance with instructions to wait. So I explored, camera in hand, taking photos for my portfolio and my own unease. The chapel interior was dusty, abandoned feeling, pews that needed refinishing, an altar draped in cloth, but the gardens behind the chapel were maintained. Recently, perfectly. Someone had been keeping them ready. I walked through roses and lavender, following a stone path to a gazebo overlooking a small pond. The morning sun filtered through leaves, creating patterns of light and shadow on the water. It should have been peaceful. Instead, I felt watched. Beautiful, isn't it? I spun. Dante stood at the garden entrance, hands in his pockets, that same controlled stillness about him. You move quietly for someone your size, I said, heart racing. Necessary skill. He approached slowly, like he was giving me time to adjust to his presence. What do you think? Can you work with this space? I looked around, trying to focus on the professional question, instead of the way my pulse jumped every time he came near. The bones are good. The gardens are stunning, someone's been maintaining them. Lucia came here sometimes, before. He moved to the gazebo, ran his hand along the weathered wood. She liked the quiet, said it felt like a secret place. You talk about her like you know her well. I've known her since she was 16. When her father and mine first discussed the arrangement, his voice was careful, distant. She was terrified. Young, she looked at me like I was a monster. And now she looks at me like I'm her only protection from actual monsters. He turned to face me. My brother is complicated, not cruel, but not kind, not in the ways that matter. Lucia understands what this marriage is. She accepted it. But she wanted one thing, one moment, that felt like a choice. The wedding, he confirmed. Every detail, every flower. She spent months planning before. He trailed off. Before you removed her for her protection. Yes, I moved closer, pulled out my tablet. Then show me. Tell me what she wanted. Not what you think she wanted, what she actually told you. Something shifted in his expression. He pulled out his phone, scrolled, then handed it to me. Text messages filled the screen. Lucia's words. I wanted to feel like walking into a dream. Like everything is soft and golden and impossible. White roses, but not stuffy. Romantic. Like they've been growing wild and we just discovered them. I want people to cry. I want my mother to cry for happy reasons. My throat tightened at that last message. I scrolled further. More details. More vulnerability. More of a girl trying to find beauty in a situation she couldn't escape. She has good taste, I said quietly, handing back his phone. She has a poet's heart trapped in a nightmare. Dante pocketed the phone. Can you give her this? This one thing? I can try. Not good enough. His intensity startled me. He stepped closer, and I backed against the gazebo railing. Not trapped, not quite, but aware of his proximity, his size, the way the space between us felt charged. Mr. Moretti, Dante, he interrupted. We're going to be working closely for 6 weeks. Use my name, Dante. It felt dangerous in my mouth. I can't promise perfection, but I can promise I'll honor what she wanted. I'll make it beautiful. Why do you care? You don't know her. Because I've been the girl trying to make the best of an impossible situation. The words came out before I could stop them. Different circumstances, but I understand wanting one perfect thing in the middle of chaos. His eyes searched my face. What was your impossible situation? None of your business. Fair. He smiled slightly. But you made me curious. Another dangerous quality. Miss Reyes. Elena. What? If we're using first names, it's Elena. I moved past him, needing distance. I'll need vendors, florists who can source white roses in volume, lighting specialists, caterers, and I'll need approval authority. I can't run every decision through you. You'll have what you need. Make a list. My assistant will arrange everything. He followed me through the gardens, matching my pace. But you'll check in daily, here or at the estate. That's excessive. That's non-negotiable. I stopped walking, turned to face him. Why does this feel like I'm being monitored more than consulted? Because you are. The honesty shouldn't have surprised me, but it did. Why? Because you ask questions. Because you're smart. Because in 6 weeks, you're going to know things about my family that could be dangerous in the wrong hands. He moved closer. And because I need to know if you're going to be a problem. Am I? A problem? I haven't decided yet. We stood there in the dappled sunlight, measuring each other. I should have been afraid. Some part of me was. But another part, a part I didn't want to examine too closely, felt alive in a way I hadn't in years. I should go, I said. Start making those lists. My driver will take you back to the city. I'd rather drive myself next time. No. Excuse me? You'll be transported to and from the estate. The venue. Anywhere related to this wedding. It's safer. Safer for who? His jaw tightened. For everyone. He walked me back to the car. The driver was waiting, engine running. Dante opened my door himself. That small, courtly gesture at odds with everything else about him. Elena, he said as I slid into the seat. Thank you. For doing this. For he stopped, something vulnerable flickering across his face. For giving her this. I haven't done anything yet. You're here. That's something. The door closed. The car pulled away. I watched Dante in the side mirror until the trees swallowed him. That night, I sketched. Designs for the ceremony space, plans for the gardens, concepts for the reception. But between the drawings, I found myself writing questions. Where is Lucia really? What danger removed her? Why does Dante look at me like I'm something he needs to protect or destroy? My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Don't come tomorrow. Complications. I'll contact you when it's safe. I stared at the message. Typed back. This is Elena Reyes. Who is this? No response. I tried calling. The number was disconnected. Sleep didn't come easily. I kept thinking about Lucia's messages. Her mother's tears. Dante's controlled desperation. The perfectly maintained gardens around an abandoned chapel. At 2 a.m. My phone buzzed again. Ignore previous message. Dante. Come to the estate at 9. There's something you need to see. And Elena? Trust no one. Not even me. I read the messages 3 times. My heart pounding in the darkness of my bedroom. Outside, the city hummed with its usual chaos. Inside, I felt the ground shifting beneath me, like I'd stepped onto a stage where I didn't know my lines or role, but I knew I'd be there at 9. I'd stopped pretending this was just about decorating a wedding, the moment Dante had looked at me in that garden, something raw and real breaking through his control. This was about something else entirely, and I was already too invested to walk away. The estate felt different when I arrived. Tension hummed in the air like electricity before a storm. Dante met me at the door. He looked like he hadn't slept, shadow under his eyes, hair disheveled, shirt wrinkled. It made him seem more human, more dangerous. Come with me, he said without preamble. Quickly, he led me through the house to a wing I hadn't seen before. Private quarters. We passed guards, actual guards. I realize now, not just staff who nodded at Dante with military precision. He opened a door to what looked like an office. Security monitors covered one wall. Maps, photographs, a war room disguised as a study. Close the door, he said. I did, my hands trembling slightly. Dante, what's going on? He moved to the desk, pulled out a folder. His hands were steady, but I could see the tension in his shoulders, the muscle jumping in his jaw. I need to show you something. Then you need to decide if you're staying or leaving. He opened the folder, pulled out a photograph. This is Lucia, 3 months ago. The girl in the photo was beautiful. Dark hair, delicate features, wearing an engagement ring and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She stood next to a young man, Marco, I assumed, who looked like a softer version of Dante. Okay, I said carefully. This is Lucia 2 weeks ago. He placed another photo on the desk. I stopped breathing. Same girl, different face, bruised cheekbone, split lip, eyes hollow and terrified. Oh my God, I whispered. My brother did this. The words came out flat, dead. Not intentionally. He was drunk, they argued. He has problems controlling his temper when he drinks. When he came to me, when he saw what he'd done, he broke down, swore it was an accident, begged me to fix it. I couldn't stop staring at the photo. At that beautiful, broken face. I removed her that night, Dante continued. Brought her somewhere safe, somewhere she could heal. Her mother knows the truth, some of it. enough to be terrified of what happens if this wedding doesn't occur. Why? My voice cracked. Why would you let her marry him after this? Because if she doesn't, the Castellano family loses protection. They've made enemies business deals that went wrong, debts to dangerous people. This marriage was supposed to guarantee safety. He moved to the windows, stared out at the gardens. If it falls apart, those enemies will move. Lucia's father, her mother, her younger sister, they're all at risk. So she's a prisoner either way. Yes. He turned back to me, and I saw real pain in his eyes. Unless I find another way. But until I do, the wedding happens, the alliance stands, and Lucia walks down that aisle in 6 weeks looking like every dream she ever had came true. I sank into a chair, mind reeling. Why are you telling me this? Because you needed to know what you're really decorating. Not a celebration. A sacrifice. He moved closer. And because someone sent you that message last night, someone who knew you were working for us, someone who wants you gone. My head snapped up. How did you know about the message? Because I monitor everything related to this family. No apology in his voice. The number was traced to a burner phone. Whoever sent it knew enough to try to scare you off. Who? I don't know yet. Could be rivals who want the wedding disrupted. Could be someone in my own organization who thinks you're a liability. His eyes held mine. Could be someone trying to protect you. That last message, the one about trusting no one. Was that really from you? Yes. Then why should I trust you now? You shouldn't. He crouched in front of my chair again. That same position from yesterday. But you're going to anyway, because despite everything you've learned, despite the danger, you're still here, still asking questions, still trying to understand. He was right. I hated that he was right. I want to talk to her, I said. Lucia, if I'm doing this, if I'm part of this, I need to hear from her that this is what she wants. No, Dante, absolutely not. The fewer people who know where she is, the safer she is. That includes you. He stood, put distance between us again. You want to help her? Create the wedding she dreamed about. Give her that one perfect thing. That's how you help. I looked at the photographs still spread on the desk. The before and after. The price of family and power. What happens if your brother does this again? After the wedding? Something cold and final crossed Dante's face. He won't. You can't guarantee that. I can. Because I've made it clear that if he ever touches her again, brother or not, I'll kill him myself. The certainty in his voice sent ice through my veins. You'd really... Without hesitation, he collected the photos, returned them to the folder. I've done worse for less important reasons. My brother knows this. So does Lucia. So does everyone in this house. And that's supposed to make me feel better? It's supposed to make you understand what you're dealing with. This isn't a normal family, Elena. This isn't a normal wedding. Everything we do is built on violence and control, and doing whatever's necessary to protect what's ours. He locked the folder in a drawer, pocketed the key. If you can't handle that reality, leave now. I'll pay you for your time. No hard feelings. I should have left. Every rational part of my brain screamed at me to walk out of that office, that house, that world, and never look back. But I thought about Lucia, about her wanting people to cry for happy reasons, about her trying to find beauty in a nightmare. And I thought about Dante, carrying the weight of protecting everyone, doing terrible things for complicated reasons, looking at me with eyes that held both danger and desperation. I'm staying, I heard myself say. Elena, I'm staying, but I need guarantees. I need to know that Lucia is safe, that she's healing, that she has a choice even if it's just about flowers and lighting. You have my word. Your word as a criminal, or as a man? He smiled slightly. There's a difference? I'm hoping there is. The smile faded. He moved closer, reached out slowly, giving me time to pull away. When I didn't, his fingers brushed my jaw gentle, testing. His thumb traced my cheekbone. You're either very brave or very stupid, he said softly. Maybe both. Definitely both. His hand fell away. I'll arrange for you to receive updates. Nothing specific, just confirmation that she's safe. Will that be enough? It'll have to be. He walked me to the door, paused with his hand on the handle. Elena? That message last night, the warning. Take it seriously. Don't go anywhere alone. Don't meet with vendors without my people present. Don't trust anyone who approaches you about this wedding. Not even you? Especially not me. He opened the door. But I think we both know you're going to anyway. He was right about that too. As I left the estate, I caught sight of Mrs. Castellano in an upper window. She was watching me, her face pale and drawn. When our eyes met, she pressed her hand against the glass. A goodbye or a warning, I couldn't tell which. 3 days later, I met Dante at a flower market in Brooklyn. He'd texted at dawn. "Need to show you something. Bring your camera." The market was chaos, vendors shouting, colors exploding everywhere, the air thick with pollen and perfume. Dante stood out like a wolf among sheep in his dark suit, drawing stares from sellers who probably recognized danger when they saw it. "This way," he said, guiding me through the crowd with a hand at the small of my back. Protective, possessive, we stopped at a stall run by an elderly woman with kind eyes and weathered hands. She looked at Dante and smiled. "Dante," she said warmly. "Haven't seen you in months." "Been busy, Rosa." He gestured to me. "This is Elena. She's handling Lucia's wedding." Rosa's expression shifted, something sad and knowing crossing her face. The wedding?" "Rosa grew Lucia's mother's wedding flowers 30 years ago," Dante explained. "She's agreed to source the roses for us." Rosa moved through her greenhouse section, pointing out varieties. White roses in every shade from cream to pure snow, some with tight buds, others full and open. She talked about care, timing, the art of making flowers look casually elegant instead of stiffly arranged. I took notes, asked questions, tried to focus on the professional aspects. But I was hyper-aware of Dante beside me, the way he listened to Rosa with genuine respect, the way his shoulders relaxed slightly in her presence. "This one," Rosa said, stopping at a climbing rose variety. "This is what Lucia wanted. She came here herself, months ago, touched every petal, said she wanted roses that looked like they'd been kissed by moonlight." She handed me a bloom. The petals were white with the faintest blush of silver at the edges. Delicate. Perfect. Heartbreaking. "It's beautiful," I whispered. "She's beautiful," Rosa said. "I hope." She stopped, glanced at Dante. "I hope she gets the wedding she deserves." "She will," Dante said firmly. "We'll take 300 stems. Can you source them? For Lucia? For you?" "Yes." Rosa squeezed his hand. "Be careful, Dante. There's talk. People are wondering why the bride hasn't been seen. Let them wonder." "And this one?" Rosa nodded at me. "You're putting her at risk, bringing her into this." "I know." "Then why?" "Because Elena sees things clearly. Because she asked to help. Because..." He stopped himself. "Because Lucia needs this to be real, and Elena makes things real." Something in my chest tightened. Rosa looked between us, then smiled sadly. "Go," she said. "I'll call when the roses are ready. And Dante? That girl deserves more than a beautiful prison. I know that too." We left the market in silence. Dante's driver waited, but Dante waved him off. "Walk with me." We moved through Brooklyn streets I'd known my whole life, past bodegas and brownstones, playgrounds and corner stores. The morning sun was warm, the sidewalks crowded, normal life happening all around us while we carried secrets that felt impossibly heavy. "Rosa was my mother's friend," Dante said eventually. "Before my mother died, she made Rosa promise to look out for our family. Rosa's probably the only person in the world who can speak to me like that and live." "How did your mother die?" "Car accident." "I was 15. His voice was flat. "Or that's the official story. Really, it was a hit meant for my father. She was in the wrong place at the wrong time. After that, my father became harder." Marco and I learned quickly that sentiment was weakness. "But you kept Rosa in your life." She reminded me that we used to be human. He stopped walking, turned to face me. "Elena, why are you really doing this? And don't say the money. I need to know what's keeping you here." I thought about lying, about keeping things professional and distant, but something in his face, raw and open in a way I'd never seen, made me tell the truth. My father died when I was 12. Cancer. After that, my mother worked 3 jobs to keep us afloat. I watched her sacrifice everything for me and my sister. Every dream she had, every moment of joy, everything gone, replaced by survival. I met his eyes. She never complained, never let us see how much it hurt her. But I knew, and I promised myself that when I grew up, I'd create beautiful things for people, moments of joy, even in darkness. Especially in darkness. And that's what Lucia is to you? A moment of joy in darkness? No. I stepped closer. Lucia is a girl trapped in an impossible situation, trying to find one piece of herself that still feels like choice. And you're a man trying to protect everyone while hating yourself for the things you have to do. I'm here because I recognize that pain. And because maybe, just maybe, I can give you both something that feels like hope." Dante stared at me like I'd spoken in a language he'd forgotten existed. Then, without warning, he reached out and cupped my face in both hands. Gentle, reverent. "You're going to destroy me," he whispered. "You know that? I'm just a decorator. You're a woman who sees people for what they really are. Do you have any idea how dangerous that is? How rare?" His thumb brushed my lower lip, and I stopped breathing. We were standing on a crowded Brooklyn sidewalk, people streaming past us, but it felt like we were completely alone, like the world had narrowed to just this. His hands on my face, my heart racing, the air between us charged with something that had nothing to do with weddings or families or danger. "Dante," I breathed. He dropped his hands like I'd burned him, stepped back, that control slamming back into place. "Sorry, that was..." He dragged a hand through his hair. "Inappropriate." "Was it?" "Yes, you're working for me. This is business." "I shouldn't..." He stopped, jaw tight. "I'll have the driver take you back to your studio." "I'd rather walk." "Elena, I'm not afraid of you, Dante, or your world, or whatever this is." I gestured between us. "But I need space to think. And you need to figure out if you're going to keep pretending you feel nothing, or admit that something's happening here." "Nothing can happen here. Not with you." "Why?" "Because everyone I've ever cared about has been hurt or killed or destroyed. Because my life is violence and secrets and decisions that cost lives. Because you deserve better than a man who's already damned." The words came out harsh, brutal. "Because I don't know if I'm protecting you or endangering you by keeping you close, and that terrifies me more than anything else." I reached out, touched his arm. He flinched but didn't pull away. "Then let me make my own choices," I said softly. "I'm a grown woman, Dante. I've survived loss and poverty, and a city that eats people alive. I can handle whatever this is. You can't handle my world. Let me try." We stood there, his arm warm under my palm, his eyes searching my face for something I couldn't name. Finally, he covered my hand with his. "You're going to regret this," he said. "Probably. But you're staying anyway." "Yes," he nodded slowly. Then he lifted my hand to his lips, just a brush of warmth against my knuckles before releasing me and walking away without another word. I stood on that sidewalk for a long time, my hand tingling where he'd kissed it, my heart understanding something my mind refused to accept. I was falling for a man who was absolutely, undeniably wrong for me, and I wasn't going to stop. The package arrived at my studio 4 days later. No return address, just my name in elegant script and a small box wrapped in brown paper. Inside, a burner phone and a note in Dante's handwriting. "If you're serious about helping, meet me at this address tonight. 10 p.m., come alone. Trust no one, including the driver I'll send. Check for a scar behind his left ear. If he doesn't have it, run." The address was in Queens, an industrial area I vaguely recognized from driving past. I should have called the police. Should have realized this was insane. Instead, I memorized the address and waited. The driver arrived at 9:30. Black car, professional demeanor. When he opened my door, I pretended to stumble, caught his shoulder to steady myself, and glimpsed the scar behind his ear. Dante's man. We drove in silence. The city gave way to warehouses and empty lots. He pulled up to a nondescript building. 4 stories, brick, windows covered. Not abandoned, but deliberately unmarked. 4th floor, the driver said. His first words. "He's waiting." Inside, the building was cleaner than expected. Cameras in corners, reinforced doors. A safe house, I realized. One of probably many. I took the stairs. My heels echoed in the concrete space. At the 4th floor, a door stood ajar. Light spilled from the crack. "Dante?" I called softly. "Come in." The room was sparse. A couch, table, kitchenette. Windows overlooking the street. And sitting at the table, illuminated by a single lamp, Lucia. I froze. She was smaller than her photograph suggested. Delicate bones, dark hair pulled back, wearing comfortable clothes that looked too big on her frame. The bruises were mostly faded, but I could still see shadows around her cheekbone. Her eyes, when they met mine, were intelligent and weary. "Miss Reyes," she said. Her voice was soft, musical. "Thank you for coming." Dante emerged from the kitchenette with 3 cups of tea. He looked at me, and I saw worry in his eyes. "Elena, this is Lucia. Lucia, Elena, the woman creating your wedding. I know. Lucia gestured to the couch. Please sit. I asked Dante to arrange this. I needed to meet you. I sat, mind reeling. Dante handed me tea chamomile, I realized. Something calming. His fingers brushed mine, a small reassurance. You're the bride, I said stupidly. In theory. Lucia's smile was sad. In practice, I'm more of a political pawn. But Dante tells me you understand complicated situations. I'm beginning to. Good. She wrapped her hands around her teacup. I wanted to meet you because this wedding, what you're creating, is the only part of my future that feels like mine. Every other decision has been made for me. Where I'll live, who I'll marry, how my life will unfold. But the ceremony, the flowers, the lighting, the moment I walk through those gardens, that's mine. And I needed to know the person handling it understood that. I do, I said. Or I'm trying to. Dante says you have questions. About whether I want this, whether I'm choosing it. She set down her tea. The truth is complicated. I'm choosing survival. I'm choosing to protect my family. I'm choosing the least terrible option available to me. Is that the same as wanting? No. But it's what I have. And your fiancé? I asked carefully. Marco? Her expression hardened. Marco is not a bad man. But he's weak. He drinks to forget what he is, what his family does. And when he drinks, he forgets how to control himself. She touched her cheekbone unconsciously. Dante has promised this won't happen again. I believe him. Because Dante's promises are the only things in this world I trust completely. I glanced at Dante. He stood at the window, back to us, tension radiating from his frame. Why? I asked. Why do you trust him? Because when Marco hurt me, Dante could have covered it up, could have threatened me into silence, could have forced me to continue as if nothing happened. Lucia's eyes filled with tears. Instead, he removed me, brought me here, made sure I had medical care, therapy, safety. He visits every day, brings my mother to see me, and he's working constantly to find a way out of this that doesn't end with my entire family dead. Is there a way out? Probably not. She wiped her eyes. But the fact that he's trying? That matters. That's why when he told me about you, about how you see people clearly, how you create beauty from broken things, I knew you were the right person for this job. My throat tightened. Lucia, I don't know if I can make this okay. I'm not asking you to make it okay. I'm asking you to make it beautiful. To give me one day where I feel like a bride instead of a prisoner. Where my mother can cry happy tears. Where I can pretend just for a few hours that this is a love story. She reached across the table, took my hand. Can you do that? Her hand was small, fragile, but her grip was strong. And in her eyes, I saw the same thing I'd seen in Dante's desperate hope, wrapped in resignation. Yes, I said. I can do that. She exhaled, relief flooding her face. Thank you. And Elena, be careful with him. She glanced at Dante's back. He's falling for you. He probably doesn't realize it yet, but I can tell. And when Dante falls for someone, he becomes reckless. Lucia, Dante warned without turning. It's true. She stood, moved to him, placed a hand on his arm. You've already broken protocol by bringing her here. You watch her when you think no one's looking. You talk about her like she's something precious. She looked at me. He's been alone his whole life, Elena, taking care of everyone, trusting no one. Please don't hurt him. I'm standing right here, Dante said dryly. Then tell me I'm wrong, Lucia challenged. He turned finally, looked at me with those dark eyes that saw too much. You're not wrong. But it doesn't matter. Nothing can happen. Not with everything else at stake. Everything's always at stake with you, Lucia said softly. But you're allowed to want something for yourself, even if it's complicated, even if it's dangerous. The driver's voice crackled through a radio on the table. Company. 2 cars approaching. No tags. Dante moved instantly. Get her out. Back entrance. Now. Dante, I started. Go with Paolo. He'll take you to your studio. Don't come back here. He was already moving, pulling a gun from somewhere. The sight of it made my blood run cold. Elena, go. Paolo appeared in the doorway. Miss Reyes. This way. I looked at Lucia. She nodded, suddenly calm. Like this was normal. Like danger was just part of her daily routine. Thank you for coming, she said. For listening. For caring. Then Paolo was pulling me toward the back stairs. We moved fast through concrete passages, emerged in an alley. The car was running, door open. Paolo pushed me inside, climbed into the driver's seat, and pulled away before I could process what was happening. "Is he safe?" I asked. "Dante? He's always safe. It's what he's good at." Paolo's eyes met mine in the rearview mirror. "But Miss Reyes? Stop coming when he calls. This world, it eats people like you. What if I don't want to stop?" "Then God help you both." We drove in silence. When we reached my studio, Paolo handed me a new phone. "He'll call when it's clear. Don't use your regular phone for anything related to the family." "And Miss Reyes? That was brave. And stupid. Don't do it again." I climbed out, watched the car disappear. My hands were shaking, my heart was racing, and all I could think about was Dante. Standing in that safe house with a gun, protecting a broken bride while falling for a decorator who had no business being in his world. I was in so far over my head, and I wasn't turning back. Dante called at 3 a.m. "Are you safe?" His voice was rough, exhausted. "Yes. Are you?" "For now." A pause. "You shouldn't have come tonight. Lucia wanted to meet me. You arranged it. I made a mistake." The admission sounded painful. "I wanted you to understand, to see her as a person, not just a job. But I put you at risk. Those cars, they were watching the building, probably have been for days." "Who are they?" "Could be anyone. Rivals wanting to disrupt the wedding. Marco's men checking on Lucia without going through me. Or he stopped. Or what? Or people inside my organization who think I'm compromised. That I'm making decisions based on emotion instead of strategy." His laugh was bitter. "They wouldn't be wrong." I sat up in bed, pulled my blanket around me. "Dante, what happened after I left?" I had a conversation, a reminder of the rules, a warning to stay focused on the end goal, which is survival, the wedding, the alliance. Everything else is secondary. But his voice held doubt. "Elena, I need to tell you something. After tonight, after watching you with Lucia, seeing how you looked at her with compassion, not pity, I realized something." "What?" "That I'm not protecting you anymore. I'm putting you in danger by keeping you close. By wanting," he stopped, "you should walk away. I'll pay your full fee. Recommend another decorator. Your work so far has been perfect, but you need to leave before this gets worse." "What if I don't want to leave?" "Then you're a fool. Maybe." I tightened my grip on the phone. "Or maybe I'm someone who finishes what she starts, who keeps her promises, who—" I took a breath. "Who cares about what happens to you and Lucia more than is professionally appropriate?" Silence stretched between us. I could hear his breathing. Uneven. Uncontrolled. "Elena." My name was a warning, a prayer. "If you stay, everything changes. I won't be able to keep this professional. I won't be able to pretend I don't feel what I'm feeling." "Then don't pretend. You don't understand what you're asking. Then explain it to me." Another pause. Then, "I'm at your building. Downstairs. I've been here for an hour, trying to decide if I should leave or come up." My heart was pounding. 4th floor, apartment 4C. "Elena." "Come up, Dante." The line went dead. I sat frozen for maybe 30 seconds. Then I was moving, shoving my hair into something less chaotic, throwing on clothes that weren't pajamas, trying to make my tiny studio apartment look less like a creative bomb had exploded. The knock came 3 minutes later. I opened the door. Dante stood in the dim hallway, still in his dark clothes, hair disheveled, eyes burning with something between anger and desperation. "This is a mistake," he said. "Probably. I should leave." "You should." Neither of us moved. Then he was inside, door closing behind him, his hands framing my face as he backed me against the wall. Not violent, controlled, but barely. "Tell me to go," he whispered, his face inches from mine. "Tell me this is insane and you want me to leave." "I can't." "Elena, I can't, Dante. Because I've spent 3 weeks watching you carry everyone's burdens, watching you protect people who don't deserve it, watching you hate yourself for doing terrible things for complicated reasons. And I placed my hands on his chest, felt his heart racing. "I see you. All of you. And I'm not afraid." "You should be." "I know." His control snapped. The kiss was everything desperate, demanding, impossibly gentle. His mouth on mine erasing every rational thought, every warning, every reason this was wrong. I kissed him back just as desperately, my fingers tangling in his hair, pulling him closer, even though there was no space left between us. He lifted me easily, carried me the few steps to my couch, set me down with a reverence that contradicted the urgency of his mouth. Then he pulled back, breathing hard, resting his forehead against mine. "We can't," he said. "I know. This puts you in more danger. I know that too. And you still want this? Want me?" I pulled back to look at him. Really look at him. At the man beneath the control, beneath the violence, beneath the weight of protecting everyone. I saw exhaustion and fear and hope he was too afraid to acknowledge. "Yes," I said simply. "I want this. I want you." Even knowing it's complicated and dangerous and probably ends badly. He closed his eyes, something like pain crossing his face. "I don't know how to do this. How to want someone without destroying them. Then we'll figure it out together. Elena, I've killed people. I've made decisions that cost lives. I've done things that—" He stopped, opened his eyes. "You should run from me. I'm aware of what you are, what you've done." I touched his face, felt the tension in his jaw. "But I also know you saved Lucia when you could have silenced her, that you're trying to find a way out for her, that you protect your family even when it costs you everything. You're not just the terrible things you've had to do. Dante, how can you be sure? Because terrible men don't sit outside someone's apartment for an hour, afraid of hurting them. Terrible men don't look at me the way you do, like I'm something precious and breakable. Terrible men don't care this much." He kissed me again, slower this time, thorough. Like he was memorizing the taste of me, the feel of me, the impossibility of this moment. When we finally broke apart, he pulled me against his chest, his arms wrapped tight around me. "Safe, protected, cherished. This won't be easy," he said into my hair. "Being with me, there will be danger. Secrets, long stretches where I can't tell you what I'm doing or why. There will be times you hate me for the things I have to do. I understand. And if something happens to you because of me, if someone targets you to get to me, I won't survive it, Elena. I won't." The raw vulnerability in his voice made my chest ache. "Then we'll be careful. We'll be smart. And we'll protect each other. You don't need to protect me. Maybe not. But I want to." I pulled back to look at him. "You've spent your whole life protecting everyone else. Let someone take care of you for once." He stared at me like I'd performed a miracle. Then he kissed my forehead, my cheeks, the corner of my mouth. Soft, reverent touches that felt like promises. "Stay with me tonight," I whispered. "Not for anything except being together. No danger, no weddings, no families, just us. I should—" "Dante, stay," he nodded slowly. "Okay, but just tonight. Tomorrow, we have to be more careful. Separate our personal feelings from the work." "Agreed." He pulled me back against him, and we sat like that as the city woke around us. His heartbeat steady under my ear, his arms solid and warm. The moment fragile and perfect and undeniably real. "Elena," he said softly. "Yes? Thank you. For seeing me, for not running, for being brave enough to want this despite everything. Thank you for letting me in." We fell asleep on my couch as dawn painted the windows gold. And for those few hours, the danger felt distant. The wedding felt manageable. The future felt possible. I should have known that was dangerous too, that hope in the middle of darkness, because the next morning, everything shattered. I woke to Dante's phone vibrating insistently. He was already awake, tension radiating from his body. He checked the screen, and I watched his expression shift from calm to cold fury in seconds. "What is it?" I asked. "Get dressed, now. We need to move." He was already up, pulling on his shoes, checking his weapon. The intimacy of last night was gone, replaced by the dangerous man I'd first met. "Dante, what happened?" "Lucia's been moved. Someone leaked the safe house location. We need to secure you before." His phone rang. He answered immediately. "Where is she?" "Fuck. Okay. I'm on my way. Send men to know. I'll handle Elena myself." He hung up, looked at me. "Someone in my organization betrayed us. They moved Lucia overnight. She's safe for now. But the wedding is compromised." "What does that mean?" "It means whoever wants this alliance to fail is making their move. It means the next 6 weeks just became exponentially more dangerous. And it means—" He stopped, jaw tight. "It means you need to disappear until this is over." "Absolutely not. Elena, this isn't negotiable. They know about you now. Know you've been to the safe house. Know you matter to—" He stopped himself. Know you're involved. That makes you a target. Then protect me while I finish the job. I'm not abandoning Lucia now. Damn it, Elena. She's counting on this. On having one perfect thing in the middle of this nightmare. I won't take that from her. I grabbed his arm. And you need someone you can trust. Someone who isn't part of your organization, who has no political agenda. Let me help. He stared at me, conflict warring on his face. Finally, you stay with me, at the estate, under guard. You don't go anywhere alone. And if I tell you to run, you run. No questions. Agreed? Agreed. 20 minutes later, we were in his car, Paolo driving with 2 other vehicles flanking us. The city blurred past. Dante sat rigid beside me, phone pressed to his ear, speaking rapid Italian. I caught enough to understand they were securing locations, moving assets, preparing for something bigger than a simple wedding. Talk to me, I said when he finally hung up. What are we really dealing with? He was quiet for a long moment. Then, the Castellano-Moretti alliance threatens 3 other families. They've been the dominant powers for decades. If we unite, they lose control. They lose territory. They lose everything. He looked at me. So they're trying to stop it. First, by targeting Lucia, making it look like she ran away, destroying her reputation, giving us cause to cancel the wedding. When that didn't work, when I protected her, they've moved to plan B, which is, expose the truth. That Marco hurt her, that she's in hiding, that this whole wedding is a sham. Force the Castellanos to cancel out of shame, destroy the alliance through scandal instead of violence. Can they do that? If they get proof, yes. If they get photos of Lucia's injuries, testimony from anyone who knows she's hidden, evidence that Marco is abusive, the Castellano family would have to walk away, or lose all credibility. His hands clenched into fists, and then everyone, Lucia, her parents, her sister, they all become targets. So we don't let them get proof. We're trying. But someone in my organization is feeding them information. Someone close enough to know about the safe house, about the wedding timeline, about, he looked at me, about you. My blood ran cold. They know about us? About last night? Probably. Which means they know I care about you. Which means... He dragged a hand through his hair. Which means I've given them another target to use against me. Then we use it. What? Think about it. They know about me. They know I matter to you. So we make me visible. Have me continue with the wedding prep, meet with vendors, act like everything's normal. Draw their attention to me while you work behind the scenes to find the traitor and secure Lucia. Absolutely not. That would put you directly in their line of fire. Exactly, but I'll be bait with your protection. With guards. With someone watching my every move. It's safer than hiding and waiting for them to make a move we can't anticipate. Dante stared at me like I'd lost my mind. You want to use yourself as bait? I want to help. And I want Lucia to have her wedding. If we can draw out the traitor by making them focus on me, then we do it. Elena, you know I'm right. You're just afraid to admit it. He turned away, stared out the window. His jaw was working, tension radiating from every line of his body. Finally, if we do this, if I agree to this insane plan, you follow every instruction. You wear a tracker. You stay in constant contact. And at the first sign of real danger, we pull you out. Non-negotiable. Deal. I hate this. I know. He looked back at me, reached out, tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. The gesture was so tender, so at odds with the danger we were discussing, that it made my chest ache. If something happens to you, he said softly, if they hurt you to get to me, I'll burn their entire world down. Do you understand? I'll destroy everything and everyone they love. I'll become the monster they think I am. Then we won't let it get to that point. We reached the estate. Security had tripled. Men in dark suits, weapons visible, positioned at every entrance. This was no longer a family home. It was a fortress. Mrs. Castellano met us in the foyer. She looked like she'd aged 10 years overnight. Dante, thank God. Is she... She's safe. New location. I'll take you to see her this evening. He handed her off to one of his men. Keep her comfortable, secure. Then he turned to me. Come on, I need to show you something. He led me to the study, the same one where he'd shown me Lucia's photos. But now the walls were covered in names, photos, connections mapped out like a spider web. His investigation, This is everyone in my organization with access to the information that leaked, he explained, pointing to clusters of photos. 23 people. One of them is the traitor. How will you find them? By feeding different information to different groups. See which version leaks. It'll take time, but we'll narrow it down. He moved to the center of the web, pointed to 3 photos. These are my primary suspects. All have motive. All have access. All have connections to the rival families. I studied the faces. 2 men, 1 woman. They looked normal, professional, not like traitors. What happens when you find them? I asked. Dante's expression went cold. They disappear, permanently. The casual brutality of it should have scared me. Instead, I just felt tired. Is this your whole life? Investigating, eliminating threats, protecting everyone? Yes. Don't you ever want something different? He turned to me, cupped my face in his hands. Every day, especially now, especially since I met a decorator who looks at me like I'm something more than a weapon. He kissed me. Soft and desperate. But wanting and having are different things in my world, Elena. Then maybe it's time to change your world. Maybe. He rested his forehead against mine. But first, we survive the next 6 weeks. Then we can talk about change. A knock at the door interrupted us. Paolo's voice. Boss, we have a situation. Dante's expression hardened. What kind of situation? The kind where you need to see this yourself. We followed Paolo to the security room. On the monitors, footage from earlier that morning. Someone entering my studio, searching it, taking photos. They've been in my apartment? I whispered. Yes. Dante's voice was deadly calm. And they left something for you to find. The package they'd left in my studio was elegant. White box, black ribbon, my name in gold script. Dante had his team retrieve it, scan it for explosives, analyze every inch before letting me anywhere near it. Now it sat on his desk between us. Unopened, radiating threat. You don't have to open it, he said. We can dispose of it. Pretend it never arrived. No. I reached for the box. Whatever they want me to see, I should see it. Inside. Photographs. Dozens of them. Me leaving the safe house. Me and Dante on that Brooklyn street, his hand touching my face. Me at the flower market. Me entering my building at 3 a.m. Dante visible behind me. And one more photo, larger than the rest, placed on top like a centerpiece. Lucia. Recent. Her injuries healed. Looking directly at the camera with defiant, terrified eyes. And behind her, barely visible in the shadow, a gun. Underneath, a note in typed text. The decorator knows too much. The bride is collateral for her silence. Choose carefully what happens next. My hands shook. Dante took the photo from me, his expression murderous. They're threatening her because of me, I whispered. Because I've gotten involved. Because this isn't your fault. How is it not? They're using me to get to you. Using her to control me. I couldn't breathe. I should never have agreed to this. Should never have gone to that safe house. Should never have... Stop. Dante gripped my shoulders, forced me to look at him. This is what they do. They create fear. They make you doubt yourself. They want you to walk away thinking you're protecting Lucia, when really you're playing right into their hands. How do you know? Because this is how I would do it. His honesty was brutal. I'd find the person who matters. The weak point in the armor. I'd make them feel responsible, make them think leaving was noble instead of strategic, and then I'd move when they were gone and no one was looking. So what do? We call their bluff. We continue exactly as planned. You keep working on the wedding, I keep investigating, and we make them think their threat worked while we're actually setting a trap, using me as bait, using the situation as bait. There's a difference. He moved to his desk, pulled out a tablet, started typing. We'll stage a fight. Very public. Between you and me. You'll walk away from the job. Make a scene. Make it look like you're done with all of this. They'll think they won. But you'll really be working from a secure location. Paolo's house. You'll continue designing, coordinating, while staying off their radar. They'll focus on other threats, while you finish what you started. And Lucia gets moved again. Tonight. Somewhere they can't trace. Somewhere even I won't know the exact location. Only my most trusted person will have that information. Can you trust anyone after this? His expression darkened. I'm about to find out. The next 3 hours were a whirlwind. Dante briefed his inner circle, 5 people, faces grim, weapons visible. He explained the plan without mentioning the photos, without revealing how much they'd threatened. Just facts, strategy, orders. I watched him operate in his element, commanding, decisive, terrifying in his efficiency. This was Dante Moretti in his world. Not the man who'd kissed me softly at dawn. Not the protector who ached for people he couldn't save. This was the mobster, the strategist, the weapon. And somehow, I loved him more for it. That evening, we staged the scene. I arrived at a restaurant near the estate, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone, where gossip spread like wildfire. Dante met me looking cold, distant. We sat at a visible table, and then we fought. "This is insane," I shouted loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "You've put me in danger. My apartment was broken into. I've been followed. This wedding isn't worth my life." "Then leave," Dante said icily. "I'll find another decorator, someone with more spine." "Spine? I've done everything you asked. I've kept your secrets, met your bride, put myself at risk for a wedding that might not even happen. Keep your voice down." "No." I stood, threw my napkin on the table. "I'm done. Done with this family. Done with your secrets. Done with you." I leaned in close, lowered my voice to a whisper only he could hear. "Please tell me this is working." "Perfectly," he whispered back, then louder. "Get out. You're fired." I walked out with tears in my eyes, half fake, half real. Because even knowing it was theater, even knowing it was necessary, saying those words to him hurt more than I'd expected. Paolo was waiting outside. "Ready?" "Yes." He drove me to a townhouse in Brooklyn. Quiet neighborhood, normal looking. Inside, it was a fortress. Reinforced doors, security systems, enough weapons to supply a small army. "You'll stay here," Paolo said. "I live upstairs. My wife makes excellent pasta. You'll be safe. Thank you." "Don't thank me. If something happens to you, Dante will kill me himself." He smiled slightly. "But between us, I'm glad he found someone. He's been alone too long." That night, I worked on wedding designs in Paolo's guest room, trying to focus on flowers and lighting, while my mind raced with worry. About Lucia, about Dante, about the traitor who was somewhere in his organization, watching, waiting. My new phone buzzed. "Dante, it's done. She's secured. New location, new guards. She sent you something." A photo appeared. Lucia, smiling, genuinely smiling, holding a piece of paper with a message written in careful script. "Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for helping him. Thank you for being brave. L." I felt tears burn my eyes. Typed back, "Tell her the wedding will be perfect. Promise." "I'll tell her. How are you?" "Safe. Designing. Missing you." A pause. Then, "This will be over soon. The traitor made a mistake tonight. Contacted someone they shouldn't have. I'm close, Elena. Be careful. Always. One more thing, I love you. I know it's too soon. I know it's complicated. But I need you to know. In case. Don't finish that sentence. You're going to be fine. We're going to finish this. And then you're going to say that to my face. Deal. I love you, Elena Reyes. I love you too, Dante Moretti." I stared at the screen, heart racing, understanding that I'd just crossed a line I could never uncross. I was in love with a man whose world was violence and secrets, a man who might not survive the next few weeks, a man who'd given me his heart despite every reason not to, and I wouldn't change it. The next morning, Paolo knocked on my door. "Dante wants you to see something. We're driving to the estate. Secure route. Are you ready?" "What is it?" He found the traitor. The drive took 30 minutes. The estate was quiet when we arrived, too quiet, like the calm before something terrible. Dante met me at the door. He looked exhausted, dangerous, and something else, satisfied. "Come with me," he said. He led me to the study. Inside, a man sat tied to a chair. Mid-40s, expensive suit ruined, blood on his face. One of the photos from Dante's investigation wall. "This is Marcus," Dante said. "My father's advisor, my brother's mentor. Family for 20 years. His voice was flat, empty. Also the traitor who's been feeding information to our enemies. Who authorized the break-in at your studio? Who arranged the photo of Lucia with a gun?" "Dante," I whispered. "Don't." He held up a hand. "Don't ask me not to do what needs to be done. He betrayed us, endangered you, threatened Lucia, put my entire family at risk. He moved to Marcus, crouched in front of him. Tell her why. Tell Elena why you did this. Marcus spat blood. Because your father was a monster. Because your family has corrupted everything. Because someone needed to stop this. Noble words from a man being paid $500,000 by the families who want us destroyed. I don't care about the money. Liar. Dante stood, looked at me. Elena, leave. Paolo will take you back to the townhouse. What are you going to do? What I've always done. Protect my family. Dante, go. Please. I should have argued. Should have tried to stop him. But I understood, with terrible clarity, that this was who he was. This was his world, and loving him meant accepting all of it, even the parts that terrified me. So I left. And I didn't look back. 6 weeks later, I stood in the gardens behind the chapel, watching the sun paint everything gold. The wedding was in 3 hours. Everything was perfect. White roses climbed the gazebo like they'd grown there naturally. Gold lanterns hung from trees, ready to glow as dusk fell. The aisle was lined with petals exactly as Lucia had envisioned. Soft, romantic, like walking into a dream. I'd worked 18-hour days to make this happen. Had coordinated with vendors while living in Paolo's townhouse. Had video called Dante nightly, watching him grow more exhausted, more haunted, more determined. Marcus had disappeared. Dante wouldn't tell me what happened. I didn't ask. The rival families had gone quiet after that, like they'd lost their inside information and decided to wait. Watch. See if the wedding actually happened. Now. It was. It's beautiful, a voice said behind me. I turned. Lucia stood there in a simple dress, not her wedding gown yet, but elegant. Her injuries were completely healed. Her eyes were clear. She looked like a bride, not a prisoner. Lucia. I moved to hug her. You're here. You're safe. Thanks to you. Both of you. She walked through the gardens, touching roses, smiling. This is exactly what I imagined. Exactly what I needed. Are you ready? For today? She looked at me, and I saw something complicated in her expression. Not joy, not resignation. Something between them. I'm choosing this, she said quietly. Not because I'm in love with Marco. Not because I want this life. But because it saves my family. Because Dante promised me Marco will never hurt me again. Because this is the price of peace. She took my hand. And because I refuse to let those bastards who tried to destroy us win. That's brave. That's survival. She smiled slightly. But you? You chose this too. Chose him. Chose to stay when you could have run. That's braver than anything I've done. I'm not sure about that. I am. Dante's never looked at anyone the way he looks at you. Never let anyone in. You changed something in him. She squeezed my hand. Don't let him push you away after this is over. He'll try. He'll think he's protecting you. But he needs you, Elena. I need him too. Good. She turned back to the gardens. Now tell me, are those the climbing roses I wanted? We spent the next hour going over details. Her mother joined us, crying happy tears as promised. The caterers arrived. Musicians began setting up. The chapel filled with the quiet energy of anticipation. I was adjusting the last centerpiece when I felt him behind me. Elena. I turned. Dante stood in the doorway, wearing a tuxedo that made him look like danger wrapped in elegance. His eyes found mine across the space, and everything else faded. You're early, I said. Guests don't arrive for 2 hours. I needed to see you. To make sure, he moved closer. To make sure you're okay. I'm fine. You shouldn't be here. Should have walked away weeks ago. Should have... Stop. I pressed my fingers to his lips. I'm here because I choose to be. Because I love you. Because Lucia deserves this moment. Stop trying to push me away. His arms came around me, pulled me close. He buried his face in my hair, and I felt him shake slightly. Relief. Exhaustion. Too many emotions to name. It's almost over, he whispered. After today, the alliance is official. The threats decrease. You can go back to your normal life. What if I don't want normal? He pulled back to look at me. Elena, what if I want this? You, complicated as you are. Us, dangerous as it is. What if I want to see where this goes instead of running because it's hard? You deserve better. I deserve to make my own choices, and I choose you. I touched his face, felt the familiar tension in his jaw. So stop being noble and just love me back. Something broke in his expression. He kissed me like he was drowning, and I was air. like I was the only thing keeping him tethered to something good. "I do love you," he said when we finally broke apart. "More than I've ever loved anything. And that terrifies me." "Good. Terror keeps you sharp." I smiled. "Now go. You need to get your brother ready. Make sure he understands the consequences if he ever hurts her again. Already handled." I had a very clear conversation with Marco about his future choices. The darkness in his voice told me that conversation hadn't been pleasant. He understands. Good. He kissed me once more, then left to handle his family duties. I returned to my work, making final adjustments, ensuring everything was perfect. The guests began arriving at 5. Expensive clothes, dangerous faces, the kind of people who ran cities from the shadows. I recognized some from news articles, others from Dante's investigation wall. The families were here. The alliance was happening. At 6, the sun began its descent. The lanterns glowed to life. Music started something classical, beautiful. And Lucia appeared at the chapel entrance with her father. She was stunning. White gown, simple veil, white roses in her hair. She looked like moonlight given human form. Her eyes found mine in the crowd. She smiled, mouthed, "Thank you." I nodded, tears burning my eyes. She walked down that aisle, like she was walking toward freedom instead of fate, confident, graceful, choosing every step. Marco waited at the altar. He looked nervous, humbled, aware of what he'd almost destroyed. Dante stood beside him, watching everything with that familiar intensity. The ceremony was beautiful. Traditional vows, promises made with weight behind them. When they kissed, the guests applauded politics dressed as romance. But when Lucia walked back down the aisle as Mrs. Moretti, I saw something in her eyes. Not happiness, exactly, but satisfaction. She'd done it, survived, won in her own way. The reception flowed into the gardens. Music, dancing, celebration. I stood at the edge, watching it all unfold, feeling both proud and melancholy. "You did good." Dante appeared beside me with 2 glasses of champagne. "She's happy. Or as happy as possible given everything. She's strong, like someone else I know." He handed me a glass. "Elena, after tonight, we need to talk about us," I interrupted. "About what happens next." "Yes." We moved away from the celebration, into the quieter sections of the garden, the same spot where he'd first told me about Lucia, where I'd first understood the impossibility of his world. "I don't know how to do this," Dante said quietly. "How to be with someone. How to balance this life with something real. Then we figure it out together. It won't be easy. There will still be danger, still be secrets I can't share, still be times when my family comes first. I understand. And you're okay with that?" "No." I set down my champagne. "I'm not okay with it, but I love you anyway. And I think I hope that you'll let me in more as time goes on, that you'll trust me with more of the truth, that we'll build something that feels less like survival and more like partnership." He stared at me like I was speaking a foreign language. Then, "How are you real?" "I'm not sure some days." I moved closer. "But I'm here. I'm staying, unless you tell me you don't want this. I want this more than I've wanted anything." He pulled me against him. "But Elena, you need to understand. If you're with me, you're part of this world now, under protection, under scrutiny. The other families will know about you, will factor you into their strategies. Then teach me. Show me how to navigate this. Don't push me away to protect me. Let me stand beside you." "You're sure?" "Completely." He kissed me there in the garden, with celebration happening nearby, and danger lurking in the shadows, and the future utterly uncertain. And it was perfect. Epilogue. 3 months later, the studio had doubled in size. Between the Moretti commission, the publicity from the wedding, and referrals from other connected families, my business was thriving. Dante sat on my new couch, watching me work on sketches for another event. He came by most evenings now. Sometimes we went out, sometimes we stayed in. Sometimes he had to leave suddenly for business I didn't ask about. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't easy, but it was ours. "Lucia called today," I said, setting down my pencil. "She and Marco are better. He's in therapy. She's cautiously hopeful." "Good." Dante set aside his laptop. "And you? How are you with all of this?" "I'm good. Happy, actually." I moved to sit beside him, scared sometimes, worried about you. "But happy. I never thought I'd have this," he said quietly. "Someone who knew what I was, and loved me anyway. someone who made me want to be better. You were always better than you believed, Dante. Maybe. Or maybe you just see me differently than I see myself. Then, trust my vision. He pulled me into his lap, held me close. Outside, the city hummed with life. Inside, we created our own small moment of peace. I love you, Elena Reyes. I love you too, Dante Moretti. And in the space between darkness and light, we built something that felt like hope,